The moment changes like the wind, hard to control when it begins. The bittersweet between my teeth, trying to find the in-between. Fall back in love eventually. Yeah, 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 yeah. The Naked and the Famous Youngblood. That's from the song Naked and Famous Youngblood. That's like the algorithm. Well, I'm not saying that, but it changes like the wind. By the way, the algorithm is an admixture of what you've searched up in the past, because it's based on the Google account. So it's based upon what you've searched up in the past. So even if you haven't searched up anything in a couple of years, it'll still show up in your algorithm every here and there. A wide variety of things, it just changes like the wind. You guys notice how that whole alpha male, big tough alpha male thing is dying down? It's not everywhere. I never actively searched that out. Well, I did when I was like in my 20s, but it's because I was like always a really good, kind, compassionate person, and I wasn't getting the results I wanted in life, but I wasn't doing that for that reason anyway. But then now looking back, it's like everything I achieved wasn't worthless. It was just I didn't get a woman out of it. I didn't get money out of it. But now all the skills that I have, if you put them together, you can make a very good career. Especially with the work experience I have too. Yeah, and it used to be, even when I wasn't searching it up, I'd still jump online and see alpha male mentality or how to be an alpha, all this type of thing. Women don't want betas, they go after the alphas, and then everyone had all these, again, going back to my 20s when I was like thinking, well, maybe I need to not put the needs of other people. It's weird. It's like I knew how to say no, but then the other half of the time I just had this need to help others, and I really liked it. And I got to this point where maybe, that's this alpha male stuff, but and then everyone had these different perspectives of what an alpha male was. Someone might say, oh, you know what, if he can control himself and he can get denied, if he can get shut down by all these people and not take it on board, then he's an alpha male. Then others will be saying, like, if he gets 25 Sheilas, he's an alpha male. This other one will be saying, if they get a long-term relationship, it was just inconsistent. So I always knew what I wanted. And there's certain things that has changed due to life experiences, and then people will say, oh, you know what, you never really intended these things, or you never really wanted these things in the first place, because if you were true about it, you wouldn't have changed your mind due to life experiences. And I just think that's just nonsense. Because if you have the amount of experience you have at the time and the knowledge you have at the time, and based upon these things, this is what you truly want, and then you learn more things, and then you acquire more experiences, and then now you don't want those things anymore because your mind has changed, or you want it in some ways, but in other ways you don't because of it. That doesn't mean that you were disingenuous, that you weren't being honest. And I see people doing and saying things around me that I used to do and say, like 3 years ago. And part of the process of reasons why I was posting non-stop for 5 years, I still post, but it's not like I'm giving all this up-to-date lifestyle stuff. I mean, yeah, I told you guys I've been 2 voluntary positions, but I'm not saying what, and it's a whole bunch of there's other things going on that I don't talk about on here. But the whole purpose of that 5-year period was like to be an open book, and then people can see the journey, and then they can learn from my mistakes as well as learn from my successes. And yeah, I went no contact with my parents and that, but I thought I'd find my tribe. Well, I found my tribe for a while, and then the tribe changed, and then the tribe changed, either because they moved region and they didn't keep contact with me. I might only hear from them once every few months or something. And then that's since moving here. And then I thought I found my tribe with the autism and ADHD group, but then now all of a sudden some of them viewed it as this disability to overcome. Some viewed it as a superpower. For me, I was like, we got our strengths and our weaknesses. We have to focus on our strengths, and and so, and then you had those with the internalized ableism, all that type of thing, meaning that when they saw aspects of themselves in you, they didn't like you. Oh, you do this and you do that, and then they're saying these things, and it's like, well, this is an autism group or an ADHD group, and everything you just said is autistic traits or ADHD traits, and I don't mean I'm just relaxed being myself. Well, if you were a real decent person, you'd do and say this, and basically the do and say things would be things that society says is appropriate behavior or appropriate things to talk about. It's like, well, sorry. So, and then there'll be those in the group that don't think that, but they just don't want to rock the boat, and they want everyone to be unified and at peace, and I understand that. I like those guys, but the issue is when they want you to meet some way, and you meet halfway with some of the people in the group who don't want to meet you halfway because they view you as a problem, because they have internalized ableism. So, and then there was a situation at one of my old workplaces when I had 7 people that I would talk to, like, deeply, rather than just talk about what needs to be done. Okay, and then when I was supervisor giving instructions and stuff, there were 7 people I would get deeper than that with. We'd have conversations about my life and stuff, and their life and everything. And then 5 of them got fired in a year before I got fired, and then the other 2 drew me into this. One wanted a relationship, one wanted to lie to them and said they only wanted a one-night stand, and I got Drew in the middle, and I just wanted to stay out of it, so I just didn't say anything. And then that caused the rift. And then it's like, well, all that being said, were my parents narcissists? But then it's like, I can't take back anything I've said, and it was all true, and they didn't want me to succeed. And yeah, you just can't let people gaslight you, you just can't let people gaslight your previous intentions and line them up with, So yeah, learn from my mistakes as well as my successes. Don't repeat my mistakes, because there was a 3-year period where I viewed the world as this dangerous world that be very, 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 very wary. Any red flag, just one thing that is viewed toxic, cut them off. That's how I used to be.